Here we go. Tighten her up. All right, you guys, we want to welcome you all to another episode of Let's Talk with Ro. I know you guys could be anywhere, but you are in the right place at the right time. Now, tonight, you're going to see a familiar guy. He is a very familiar guy. The show last week was so good, and so many people enjoyed the show and had questions that did not get answered that we had to pull you back on again, boss.
One more time.
One more time. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. And for the people that didn't get to see last week, we do have some new viewers tonight. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I One Brands. I own Salon Brands, Bundles by Brands. I'm a DC native, DC graduate.
Look, that's all we need to hear right there. When you say I'm the owner of Salon Brands, look, everybody like, oh, that's him?
Yeah, it's me.
So I got it. Y'all know I don't waste any time. I hop right on in. So first of all, Rans, so many people called me this week.
Did they tell you good stuff?
Yes, they did. So a lot of people called me and were saying things like, I had no idea this about him. I didn't know he used to be this, or I didn't know he used to do this. He seemed like such a nice guy.
Right.
Like it really put a face to Salon Brands. Like it did what I was hoping it would do. People seeing who is behind all of that hard work. It was just hilarious to me, man. Like how many people call me, and I'm like, people that hadn't called me in some time.
Okay.
And I'm like, what do you want? And I said, you better not be calling me because of that Rand show, and you ain't called me to see how I'm doing.
Well, sorry.
Nah, but so tonight I did have some questions that were inboxed. I'm gonna try to run down as many of them as I can because I can't express to you, man, how much love you got off the show.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate your viewers and you.
It was so big, but a lot of people asked questions, and I could not get all of them. If I don't get to your questions tonight, because we still have to take questions from the audience tonight, guys, live. But I'm gonna start it off with the first 3 questions that I received. I'm gonna go in numerical order. And if I don't get to you, don't be upset with me, okay? And the best thing you can do to get your questions answered or to talk to Rand tonight is to come on a live feed. That will help you a lot. All right, so one of the questions that were asked was an experience that you've had that was paramount in preparing you for your job. Like, for instance, being more specific, because I had to think on that question. What is something that you've gone through? Like, have you ever been beat up? Have you ever, you know what I mean? Have you ever lost a physical fight? Have you ever been through a mental spasm or anything like that that you feel like helps you to stay grounded when stress hits you now?
Well, I ain't never lost a fight. So.
Oh my God. Never in your life. You never lost a fight.
Well, I've been fortunate. Let's say that. They say every dog has his day. But I ain't doing no more fighting. So
you starting early tonight.
But I think going through the police academy is one of the most physically and mentally challenging things I think anybody can go through.
Really?
Yeah. Especially for a young person.
So all right, give me a little bit on that, because for people, I've never been through the police academy. So what's some things that you think stood out about that?
Your body is going to get tested to its limits, and once you physically are tested, it's the mental that's going to see you through. So I think, being able to get through it in some of the hardest times when I just thought, man, look, I can't, and I did. So, it lets you know that, pretty much anything can be done as long as you keep being consistent with it.
Okay. That's good right there. Now, I will say this. What are some qualities that I'm going to ask you this rather. What are some qualities that you think you see in people and you say to yourself, they're going to be an owner one day?
That's a hard question to answer because I see so many. I want to answer politically correct, but I can't. Because I think early on when I meet, especially beauty professionals, like with any relationship, you meet a representative. And you want to believe that representative is exactly who they are. But you really only know people like the seasons. You got to get through all the seasons. You got to get through.
You just said something.
Yeah.
You teaching us tonight.
Yeah, you got to get through all of it. So if you know, and over the years, you have different experiences and, you know, things with people that, you know, they show different sides of themselves. And I'm sure vice versa, you know, as being an owner. I don't really know. I think I can't really answer that question with one answer. There's some people that got it. I just don't think they have all of it in this totality. But that's no different than I was when I started. It's just that at this point, I'm sitting on the throne looking down like, hey, you know, I kind of have been through some stuff. But a lot, they got to go through it to learn it. So yeah. I don't think there's any specific quality. I think it's just the mindset and the determination.
That's fair. I will say this. I noticed some people sometimes, what you said was profound about you have to go through all the seasons. When I was coming in the game and I was starting to, you know, I was on my first salon, you would see people, you get attached to them, you love them, and you be like, yes, I'm doing everything I can to help you and blah, blah, blah. And then you get bit by a snake. You just be like, wow, how could I have been so naive to that? Gullible.
Man, imagine getting bitten by many snakes at one time. So that's the thing. And a lot of them snakes you fed. So you gotta, you know, look at it, I guess, for what it is in that moment. Let's say that.
I guess it's just a situation where you got to learn as you go through. Now, I will say this. Do you feel like now you are still learning lessons as an owner? Or do you feel like you kind of got that foundational piece kind of solid?
I think I got the foundational piece solid, but I think every day you learning something. The pandemic showed me a lot about people and how they really are. You know, just being in business so long, you just learn about people, and that, I mean, you want to wish the best. You want that. And I think that, you know, having a good heart can sometimes be like a detriment to your own success sometimes, because you don't carry your business as it should be. And then when you turn it into business, it's a shock. It's like, oh, you know. So I think the one thing I will say, if you're going to start it straight business. Don't even have no friends. Don't worry about it. Just straight business, just like all these other big corporations. Because it's not a shock when they get put out at these big places. But when you come in and say, hey, you ain't paid your rent in 2 weeks, it's time to go, they look shell-shocked, you know. So I think you got to just start off straight up like what it is. And that doesn't mean you don't love them, but that's just the business part of it, because you got to pay the bills and keep the light and water on for all them other operators in that facility.
No, that's fair. You're right, though. When you start up, I tell people all the time, I see people servicing their families and things like that. And, you know, when they initially starting to work in the salons and stuff, you bring these friends and family in. And
they don't never think they should pay.
And that, you know, and I will say, I have, for the family members that pay full price, I love you. You know, but I feel like I had to set that standard. You understand? Like, some people, like, they just don't think that way. You sitting up here working all day and you're not even getting paid.
Well, the thing is, I think, well, in the aspect of being the owner of the salon, what people don't see is, so for instance, if you rent a suite, you the operator, you get paid every time you do a client. You know, well, I only get paid on one day. I got to wait for Friday or Saturday. So essentially, you're my client, and I'm expecting payment on Saturday. But you don't work all week long to amass probably a fraction of what you made in 1 week. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So when it comes time to pay, I think the issue is not so much that they can't pay. They don't want to pay a lot of times. And a lot other times, I think it's just a lot of us have not learned money management. Like, I think that's a lack in the beauty business, because we make money so fast. You know, we'll make $1,000 in 2-3 hours and think, okay, well, I'm gonna spend $1,500, and then that bill come due, you know, a couple of days later. You done made the money, but you just blew through it.
No, that's the truth, though. And then they mad at you.
They mad at you because you
want yours.
You got, but the thing is, like I try to explain to people, it's not singular. It's not just you that we talking to. It's the overall facility. because I have a responsibility to, if it's 20 people in there and you the only one not paying, well, now I got 19 people to keep the lights and water on for. So that's that's the view of the owner. It's not that I don't like you, but hey, look, you came in, we got to pay these bills. Period. And it's not always about the profit, because sometimes it ain't a lot of profit left over after you pay everything. And that's the misconception people have in reference to owning the salon. Sometimes the operator can make more money in the facility than the actual owner.
Yes.
Yeah, the owner may do less work, but you may make more being the operator. So that's why I think sometimes it's give and take.
And that's good right there that you said that, because a lot of people want to be in an ownership position. They feel like that's the boss position, but heavy is the head.
Mm-hmm.
That wears the crown.
Yeah.
Like, do you ever feel like your job is heavy?
Yeah. I feel it all the time. I feel it today. I'm trying to open a whole salon, another salon. And it's not just, when you duplicate your business and you're not just running one facility, you got the stresses of each location. Even if you have managers there like I do, you still got that load. And every location has a different set of its own issues. And it's not always personnel. Sometimes it's just the building itself, where things that you can't change. But some of those things are things you kind of almost don't know till you in operation.
Yep.
And you in there, now you there. So it's like, okay, well, how far into this can I go to make it perfect?
Yeah.
And, that's that fine line. Like, well, if how far can I go into it? Or can we work around it? I think for me, I've been blessed with good, even though some of the past staff have been the snake to bite, but while they were swarming around the jungle, they've been pretty peaceful until it was just time for them to go. I think one of the biggest things in the beauty business is people, we don't know how to just part ways peacefully. It's got to be a show. People don't want to just say, hey, look, you know what, man, I appreciate this time, but, I want to go do something else. It's got to be a show. We got to have something negative to say to try to feel like we going to propel our, the other brand over top of what's going on.
I'm going to show him.
Yeah.
I'm about to show him and blah, 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 instead of just saying, you right. And I think sometimes it could be because people don't want to hurt you. Sometimes they don't give a damn about hurting you.
Well, I think at some point they don't care. I've had people tell me, hey, I respect you so much, but I already packed my stuff. It's like, so how much did you respect? You didn't give me 2 weeks. You didn't tell me, now you just got to accept it. But I think those are things that are just part of the business. And as you grow and being an owner, you just let it roll off your back. That's part of the business.
Okay, so for you, I'm gonna listen to yours and I'm gonna compare mine. Right. You the big dog, you the big brother in the business sitting here. So what is a proper way for a stylist to leave your shop? Like for you to view it and say, this was kind of, and not just your shop, for a person to leave a business, should they do this, this, this? And if they wanted to come back, they could, because they did it that way.
I think, well, first of all, and it may just be me, I don't know, but I very rarely had an operator leave that hadn't already had an issue. And normally that issue is payment. We don't know how to communicate about payment. And then when the business communicates with you as a business, it's a problem, because you owe it. It's just like, why are you bothering me?
The way you say stuff makes me laugh so bad. It's goals for me.
That's what it is. You owe. See, it's just like, criminals and the police. Your job is to commit a crime, as the police job is to stop said crime. So you need each other. I think we just don't communicate. My thing has always been, I always had the perception that I'm accessible. So if you had an issue, you could call me and say, hey, look, I need 2 weeks. I'm going to double up. I think that the proper way to leave is to give somebody 2 weeks, at least a week. But you should tell somebody, hey, 2 weeks. And I feel like you should also, in that same breath, if you really respect the individual, say, hey, look, this is why I'm leaving. I'm going, I feel like it's better over here. Or, hey, I got an issue with, a number of these things that are going on here. And maybe you should try to tend to that for the next person behind me. And that's I think those are the proper ways, because then you opening up dialogue.
Right.
You know.
Okay, now question. I know a lot of times when you see people like yourself so successful, you always seem to be really upbeat. You know what I mean? Like really balanced. Now, question. Has it ever been nights in your career that you can remember actually losing sleep because you were so stressed out?
Oh yeah, I mean that happens regularly.
What?
Yeah, because you know you can't let them see you sweat. I mean, my father used to say that, and I mean I take heed, and I feel like if you work in my facility, and I come in and I'm worried, and I project the worry or the unsureness on in the facility, then it gets everybody. It causes an uproar. So somebody's got to be the even kill. And that, you practice that all day long. But by the time you get home at the end of the night, I'm the one sitting there thinking like, man, like right now, I got a hot water tank that's leaking. How fast can I get somebody there to fix that? Then how fast can I get the water up? Hope it don't damage nothing. Those type of things. I got a shampoo bowl at one of the shops that's broke. How fast can we fix it? Every time is of the essence in the beauty business. It's this one of them few businesses where if something breaks today, we all want it fixed today. And it doesn't all, and you can't always do that. I think I've been fortunate enough where I kind of been able to like meet those marks, but you worry, about it, all the things, and then you still got to worry if you come to the salon the next day that somebody just walk out and not pay. That's all.
They couldn't service their clients.
Or just walk out in general and
just
not pay.
In general.
And people always say, oh, you can take them to court. But who wants to do that?
Nobody.
Nobody want to be tired. That's time out your life.
Nobody wants to do that.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nobody want to do that.
Yeah, that's good right there. I think that a lot of times with the beauty business, there are so many stresses that come with ownership that people don't see. And, like I said, I was really excited about having you on the show so people could hear things like this, just because people see you. I'm telling you, people think you like this Superman of these salons. I'm telling you, a lot of people, and I'm going to tell you this, either people love you or they hate you. It's one of the two. And guess what, though? A lot of people don't understand because they don't wear the crown.
Yeah.
You understand?
A lot of people don't. Well, it's love or hate in general.
Yeah.
I think, but the thing is, sometimes your light is that bright.
Now, I got a good question for you. And this is my question, y'all. This is one directly from me.
Okay.
How important do you feel like it is for an owner or just a businessman or woman to see a therapist?
I think that's very important. I used to didn't think it was as important when I was young.
Tell me why.
I mean, first of all, in the Black community, is not strongly promoted to see a therapist. But I think I got like 130 stylists altogether. It's 130 different ways of life, 130 different problems, 130 different agendas. I'm the one that house all of it. So even though you may be the manager at one location and you only deal with that one set of staff, I got to deal with all of it. And then you still got to you wonder, well, am I making the right choice? Did I do right by this person? Did I really do right? Could I have did better? All those second guesses that swing through your brain. And almost if you talk to somebody else that's not really a salon owner or maybe a business person, and I'm going to say a salon owner because owning a salon is a unique kind of business. It takes a special person. This is not like owning, a clothing store or something like that. You just wonder, did you do right?
I know. It's true. And you get really caught up. So how do you beat that? Like, what's your advice for business owners, salon and barbershop owners that struggle with that? Because some people get stuck on that. I want to make the right decision by this person. And sometimes you may not have done things the way they should have been done. Like, how do you continue to sleep at night and to push past those things and like to forgive yourself?
Well, you just got to grow from it. I mean, you got to just keep pushing. You got to take inventory of what you did do right. Like, and I'm a big believer in taking inventory daily. You know, even if like sometimes I'll be so stressed, I have to tell myself, hey, you know, you might have lost 3 stylists, but you still got 100 that love where they at.
Yes.
So it's like, how bad are you doing? Are you batting good? Is your percentages good? And you look back on it like, well, not too bad. So you got to just think about the positive things and hone in on that
and roll forward.
And then you got to think of one thing I tell people, always think about, like when that space was open previously before that person came that you lost, like it got filled in. So why won't God fill it for you again? And you just got to pray on it and pray big prayers. Like, I have specifically asked God for a certain type of individual. And I remember asking God to, like, hey, remove this group of people because they're not on the same train anymore. And then give me these kind of people. And over time it happened. And it was some growing pains in between there. But over time, I mean, it happened and I got the kind of stylist that I desired.
The last time I prayed a prayer like that, the whole salon was gone in a week.
Well, think about this.
I lost my whole staff.
Yeah, I had that happen
in 1 week.
Well, I had them all leave. When I had a whole salon leave in the middle of a pandemic. And wasn't nobody even trying to come back in the salon. I had them all leave.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
So with the pandemic, let's talk about the pandemic.
Talk about it.
So when the pandemic happened, how many salons did you own when it hit?
When the pandemic happened, I had 4.
Okay.
When it first happened.
What was your emotion when they announced that you had to close down the shops?
I didn't have any because the date that they said they were closing, I personally had already told my staff we were going to close. I had already said, hey, look, we're going to close for 2 weeks to see how this thing goes. Because I was scared. And I had young kids at home. And then I felt like I had to make that decision as the lead of my thing. But then just happened to say Hogan announced that very same day that we all had to be closed. I prayed on it. I just prayed on it. Like, man, look, if I ain't got it, I ain't got it. Hey. But I mean, I was financially prepared to hold my businesses for at least 2 months. I'm like, okay, well, I can get through. And I think a lot of that has to do with part of being an owner is your relationships with your landlord or with your mortgage company. Are you always on time? Can you call a utility company and say, hey, I'm always on time, man. Can you string me along for a month? 2 months. And same thing with your landlord and your mortgage company. And I mean, I remember making them calls and all them people was like, hey, man, look, man, you been with me. I had one of my landlords was like, man, don't even worry about paying till you reopen. Because we had such a good rapport that he knew. I'm like, dude, look, this was going on. And even with all the PPP and all the loans and all that, I mean, this dude really stuck in my corner. So I think the moral of the story is if you do right business-wise with the people you're supposed to do right with, you'll be okay.
That's good right there. I'm going to go to the audience for a second. I want to send some shout-outs tonight. And you guys, I've been noticing that sometimes your Facebook name, I don't really recognize who you are because I don't know some of y'all government and things like that. If you want to shout out, drop your names in the chat. And if you want Rans to know that you on the show tonight, drop the name that he knows you by in the chat. Drop your questions. But I want to give Anton a shout out. One of my #1 fans. We got Stomp from Northeast on here tonight. Hey, Stomp, one of my favorite people. Dee Dee, my best friend. Macy Warren, Tone Travis, Andre Warren. These got to be some of your people, Rans. I don't know if any of these things. We got Terry Thompson. Terry, thanks for tuning in tonight. And thanks for assisting with my wardrobe tonight. Somebody said their name is Woof Woof.
Murray. That's my girl. My girl from work. That's about one of my best friends.
Look, Murray, he instantly knew who you were. I said, Woof. That was so funny. That's good right there. All right, y'all. Make sure you drop your questions and we going into the second segment of the show. Before you know it, that 30 minutes will be gone.
Yeah.
Yep. So I know that you strongly talk about, prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Question, do you belong to a church family or are you an independent worshiper?
I mean, I'm independent. I attend Mount Enoch Baptist when I do attend in
Okay.
Clinton, but
I love Pastor Coates.
Yeah.
I love
very
him,
relatable.
and I love his teaching.
Yeah, very relatable. But you gotta, I think, your walk, you gotta go about that on your own. I don't know if that's a group thing. I think you gotta go about it on your own and see, where it take you.
How important is it, in your opinion? A lot of men look at your leadership and your success, and that's what most men want to be. Men want to be successful. They want to know what their job is and where they're going to flourish. Yeah. Seems like you found that. How important do you think it is for a man to be able to hear from God?
That's your guiding star. I mean, you're only gonna get but so far on your own. That's the thing. I mean, you can. It's going to be something that you're going to have to talk about, even if you're just putting it in the universe. You got to really learn how to speak that stuff into the universe and speak it directly to whoever you believe your higher power is. If it ain't God, it's everybody praying to something, whether it be a God or, whatever it is. So you got to direct it and say it, because the more you say it, the more you speak it, it's going to happen. You might not happen when you want, but it's because you're putting it in the air. You just got to be ready to accept it.
Yeah, it's funny that you say it doesn't happen when you want. I saw a snippet today. I like Steve Harvey. I like him and Marjorie. I love them. I like them. But today I saw a clip. It came running past my phone, and Steve said he looked at Marjorie and he said, I spoke this. Mm-hmm. He said, I saw you. It took him.
Yeah, years.
It took them, y'all. If you haven't, I'm not gonna take up your good time, but if y'all haven't ever seen a story on Steve Harvey and Marjorie Harvey, their love story, everybody see that what it looks like now. But you are gonna be floored if you see their story, man.
They went through it.
Yeah, but I will give them this. When Marjorie walked into that comedy club that night, the first time Steve saw her, he said, "Lady, I don't know who you are, but one day, I'm gonna marry you." And he wasn't thinking like that for real.
Yeah,
he just saw a good-looking woman, and it's the power of what you're saying. He spoke that. He put it out there, and
it's what you say, what you think.
I gotta go to the question. So we got a Maria Wise on the line. Maria, thanks for joining the show tonight. You familiar with Maria?
She's the manager in the shopping.
Okay, you got it. Hey, Maria, thanks for tuning in. Okay, Anton has a question. What do you think about forming an investment group that pools money to create businesses in a community?
I'm all for it. I mean, I think that's part of what we need as locally Black businesses. We need to do that. I think that's part of the way we can take advantage of all this redevelopment, all this stuff that's going on, because you're not going to always have all the money. One person is not going to always have all the money. And sometimes investments is not about cash. Sometimes it's time. Sometimes it's knowledge. It's a lot of different ways to invest. Long as you got a strong group, I think that's necessary, especially right now. Everywhere they building strip malls, they redoing strip malls. They want businesses. Is grants out there for Black businesses. It's stuff that we could get to, advance our financial status, at least in this area, probably across the country.
It just puts me in the mind of, I did a show not too long ago on the Black Wall Street piece, and there's some people trying to redo them things that were done back in the day. And, I was just asking them how they were able to, they seem to have a real good group going. It's all love. Everybody's coming together. They collecting money. They getting money, and they making moves. Yeah. So, my question is, how do you think about, how would you even draw that together? How would you even go about even initiating something like that?
I don't have the answer for it. I think that's just, normally I think like-minded people end up finding each other.
I got you. It's kind of like a magnet.
Yeah,
Or maybe you pray.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
God showed me the
yeah.
team. Okay, I got another question for you. Thanks, Tone, for your question tonight. Do all of your stylists get along?
Nah, who asked that?
We got a DJ Tone that asked that.
Tone. Well, the beauty, well, in the past, no. But right now, we're having a salon suites. I mean, they have very minimal reason to not get along.
That's excellent.
They all in their rooms. They running their own individual businesses within the facility.
Look, it's so funny because I know in my locations and everyone I have on the walls in this house.
When that open floor.
You see, you have graduated.
I had the open floor. I remember this.
My girls I have had people balling. I'm talking about they wrecking through the shop, I gotta push them jokers. I think every salon or barbershop has been through that kind of thing.
That's part of the business too.
It's not just the salon business.
No, it's not. That's with anywhere where people are just in one spot. I think at some point you're gonna have a disagreement.
Now, question. How important is character to you when you hire people if they are extremely talented?
So that's been one of the things in like my past that has hurt me is overlooking their mentality and letting the talent take the forefront. I think that gave me more stress in my business than anything else.
Really?
Yeah, because I remember I had a group of I had some monster talent all in one roof, but could none of them get along, and could none of them just do right. On social media, the bomb. We look good. They putting out, but nobody knew I was sitting in the building all day because I got 4 or 5 of them that want to fight. I got a boyfriend out front.
Oh my God,
man, it was off the chain. But those are the growing pains. Those are things as you grow in your business and you start to realize that talent those things are good, but I'm more concerned about the consistency and the peace. Like, are you going to consistently come in here and operate and consistently handle your responsibilities in regards to the business? And are you going to disrupt my peace or the manager's peace? And then are you going to be a good representation of my brand, like overall? And yeah, it's probably some people that slip through the cracks still, but I think I'm batting like 99%.
That's good. And how I remember I read Truett's book, the founder of Chick-fil-A, and I really liked him. I mean, with his businesses, right. I like the results.
Yeah.
Normally when you go into a Chick-fil-A, when I started my business, I was thinking about Lord have mercy.
Franchise.
There you go. I can't believe I couldn't think of that word. But you're thinking about franchising. Yeah. I was thinking big off the bat, and I wanted to see who could be a model that I liked. Yeah. And I couldn't really find any salons. Like hair cuttery to me just wasn't like, I don't know why I just didn't associate hair cuttery with Black people.
Well, I tried it, and I'm gonna be brutally honest. I tried it. I opened up a commission salon in Bowie, and I closed that location during the pandemic. But the hardest thing I felt was to get a group of people on board to move like on a train together. So everybody want to have a train and conduct the train and have their own tracks. People don't really understand this. It's a conductor on every train. Sometimes the other cars just got to follow till it's your stop. And now it's time for you to go ahead and conduct your own train. But every time I would get somebody, hey, they get in and they'd be like my number one, or I want to rent a chair. They want off the team. So people don't want to, right? I think the one thing that's missing in the beauty business right now that we used to have, at least I felt like was there, is we don't have everybody is a me. There's no our or us or we, like trying to take over. Like, hey, look, we a whole squad of people. We're gonna do this. We all good. It's like I'm good. I'm better than this.
You ain't never lied. It is so hard to get people on one accord, and like you are the leader. You are the head. Yeah. And a lot of people just don't feel like you said, they want to follow or learn or glean.
But they want to follow to an extent. You know, they don't want to collaborate. You
just said collaborate, and a Sierra just dropped in the comments is collaboration over competition. I mean, while you uttered the word,
oh, that's my wife too. Yeah.
Oh, that's look. Let me tell you.
She know.
Look, wifey. Look, Mrs. Rance. Look, y'all are on one accord. You said it, and it came right through this. It came right up.
But I mean, that's what it is. But people don't want to. I feel like I've had, at least for me, I look around at people that used to work in my shop over the years. I mean, it's been people I'm like, hey man, I really wish we could have kept it together, and I would have gave you something. Hey, here, I'm gonna open up this salon over here. I'm gonna open it and you run it. You know, we might be 70-30. Just give me 30%. But my brand is strong enough for me to open up somewhere, and you gonna automatically get people. I feel like I'm that strong. I know I'm that strong.
I know you that strong too.
And it's like I just wish, you know, like moving forward that I could say, hey, look, you know, you look like you got it in you. You know, come on, let's collaborate and do this thing.
You ain't never lied. I have had stylists that I poured into, and you know, I'd be like, I see it in you, blah, blah, blah. And it's like we had the plan for them to come under my brand and roll, and they would just go and just do. Yeah. And you know, a lot of times I always tell people, I don't have no problem. Go run your brand. Yeah. I tell everybody that comes in, I hope that you grow here, and I would love to see you go further. But sometimes you think you're ready, man, and you just not.
Sometimes you're not.
You got to learn. It's all good.
Yeah, sometimes you're not.
We ain't gonna roll down that. Look, we ain't gonna roll down that train.
I mean, I could go through it. I mean, I
know you could, but we not.
All right, we not.
So look, because it's a couple of more questions I want to ask.
Okay.
Now, for you, I know that every now and then, you know, for you to be where you are, you have had to have encountered some forms of danger in your lifetime. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. What would you say was one of the most dangerous experiences, or the most, I don't want to say close to death, but what is a scary experience that you went through that was extremely dangerous that you look back on now and be like, damn, woof, that was like.
In the salon?
Period. Because I feel like that's a big deal with like building your character.
Oh, well, you know, I was the police. I've been shot at. I mean,
are you serious?
Yeah, I mean, those are things. I mean, we don't have man with a gun.
Every police can't say they've been shot at. I was not expecting you to say that.
Yeah, I mean, east of the river, I mean, that's part of the deal. I mean, I've been in fights with people high on PCP, fight. I mean, I've been through it. I mean, I don't wear those things because those are not my most prized, you know, stories. And I'm not like no thug, but I mean, I've been through some stuff, especially on the job. I mean, especially alone in the 6th district. I mean, there are things that have happened on the job that's just part of the job. It's not really a scary thing because you working.
I got you.
You know, that's 8 hours.
Okay, well, I know you like the nicer things and the finer things. What is the most beautiful place in the world that you have ever visited?
My house.
Are you serious? What?
I love my house. It's the dream out of my imagination. It's just what I was thinking about. You know, I mean, there's some things that could be different, but it's essentially what I pray for, plus some.
This is so crazy. Out of everything that I thought this man was about to say, I thought you was going to say a country, you know.
I mean, my kids are there. My family is there. It's my house. I mean, everything is right there. Everything that I need and yearn for is right there. So,
wow.
I mean, I don't need a vacation from that.
Now, you know, you done messed it up for some dudes tonight.
Well, I mean.
He said, I do not need a vacation from my house. That is, I think, I've heard men say that. I have heard men that have said they love their home and they look forward to just being able to spend time in their home and having the kind of career that allowed them to do that.
Yeah.
But most of the time today in our society, I know so many people that be like, they hate going home. They hate going home. You know, they have to go out of town or out the country just to have a good time. Yep.
Nah, I have a good time in my house. I like to go places, but I like my house. I mean, I like it.
That's big. Now, another question I have. Do you have a goal on how many salons you would like to open? Is there a specific number? Or do you feel like you kind of go with the flow?
No, I'm batting for 100.
100 salons?
Why not? There's 50 states. I put 2 in each state. Sound good.
That's big right there.
Why not?
Why not? And I think you are off to a damn good start.
I appreciate it.
I'm serious, man. Like, you are rolling. I'm telling you. I just always try to encourage you with that. You guys, I want to give a shout out. Mark, is that you? I see you on here. That's crazy. Mark Hunter. How you doing, Mark? Good to see you. And you got Rhoda Lewis on here. Thank you for your comment, Rhoda.
Hey, Ms. Lewis.
Yep, she said some people just don't want to be social. You know what I mean?
Well, that's my road dog.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, she came right on.
She know. People don't want to be. She been all the stuff at least in the last 8-9 years. She been right there with all the happenings. So she know. And then she been in the beauty business, I don't know, 30 years, something like that. So she know. She probably know better than I know.
Got you. Now, question. Do your young ones take the love of the hair business and take a liking to it, or you think they ain't going to be fooling with it?
Hard to say.
Because that can change, right?
Yeah, hard to say. I will say this. I got some young, really, really young stylists that's like 19. A couple of them that's like 17. They're more professional than the ones in their 20s and 30s. I'm being sincere. I have less issues with them. It's almost like they may not have all the experience with as far as talent, but they got the back end of it. Their professionalism, not just with me, but with their clients, you know, everything. So like they got the foundation to really make it if they stick with it.
Got it. We got a question. Thanks, Tom, for your questions tonight. So out of these cities, which would you open up next? So we have Houston, Atlanta.
Yeah, I'd go to Houston. I wouldn't go to New York.
We got, okay. And what's your reasoning for that? Because I like to glean. I like to see, you see how you just knew off the top of your head? You said I wouldn't go to New York.
I wouldn't go to New York. I mean, I'm just not a big fan of New York in general. But I like Houston. I mean, Atlanta, I know everybody would expect you to say Atlanta, but it's saturated. I'm not saying that you couldn't make it, because clearly you can make it because everybody's making it in Atlanta. But I don't know. I like to be a pioneer. Send me to Houston.
Got you. Know. What you think about Charlotte?
Charlotte. Send me to Canada. Send me anywhere. I don't care.
So,
just do this thing. But I ain't going to New York.
So what would you say would be your dream city? Like dream if you be city? Like, if I get one there.
DC. I need something in like the heart. Like put me 17th Street, right there near Macy's. You know what I'm saying? I need something right up in there with my own underground parking garage. I got like 200 rooms, 2 levels of suites, right? Got my own restaurant in there, everything. And I got hookah, cigar lounge, all in the same facility.
All in the same facility.
So you ain't never got to leave, and I might even put a laundromat in there. You ain't got to leave.
Just stay right here.
Stay right here.
All you need.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna lie, that ain't a bad look. And that is like how they moving down there.
Yeah.
Not our kind, but that's what they rolling with. You do everything. You move in town, you take the job, you can go upstairs to go sleep.
Yeah.
You can eat, you don't need a car.
Nah, you don't need no car. And even if you do need a car, we got underground parking garage.
Okay, so look, now we've been talking all about the business. Let's talk about some fun stuff. So I know you love cars. What do you think about the electric cars?
Growing on me. Say, I still like my old combustion motors. I need to hear it. I need to feel the motor. But electric cars, I mean, that's the way of the future. At some point, I'm gonna have to, because it's looking like that's what it's gonna be. But
so if somebody came right now and they said, "Look, Renz, we love you and your brand, and we would just be happy if you drove one of our electric cars," you know, what brand would you probably like the most? Have you done enough research to even know?
I haven't, but I remember a couple years ago, and I don't know if they still do. Tesla had a Roadster, a 2-seater convertible Roadster that I remember me and my wife saw, and I was like, if I had gotten one, that would be the one. It was so fast. Like I remember we talked to the guy at the light. He had like crashed the front end up. It was that fast. But it ain't sound. It sounded like crap. It ain't had no sound, you know. But it was when he took off. I'm like, it's giving me Jetsons, but it's fast. I just need the car for me doesn't necessarily have to be fast. I like it to have a growl, you know. Like I want you to know that I'm here.
Okay, look, and I know you love cars, right? Yeah. So when you buy cars, are you the type of man that names your cars? You know, some dudes, my uncles in them, man, they all in the cars and stuff. I came up like that. Man,
I used to.
They be like, hey, Pearl. Yeah. You know, I be like,
I used to. I mean, I don't keep them long. See, the thing is, I like my cars, but I don't keep them long enough. I don't get be that attached. It's like
you like to change up.
Yeah, like I might have it, and then 8 months later, it's like, I mean, I'm trying to figure out how much I can get for it to move on into something else.
Yeah. Okay, a question I have lately, and it's not so fun, but I think it's relevant. Mm-hmm. I noticed that in the beauty industry, a lot of times, you know, people don't think about retirement. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, is that something that you say to your people or you consider, or is that something that they just kind of need to figure out on their own?
Well, you know, I used to be very vocal in talking to them about their planning when I was trying to exert all that energy. Problem is, I used to have people come in and try to talk and have seminars about retirement, life insurance, and all this stuff. But I've come to the conclusion where people were just not very receptive of it. And I always tell people owning a salon is not a retirement. Unless you're going to do it like I did and duplicate it, you're not going to retire off of just one place. You need multiples, and you need multiples that are successful. Because just because you're paying the bills, you know, if ain't nothing left over, then, you know, you just spinning your wheel. But I think retirement is a must. There is no retirement in this business. I mean, I think for me, I have had dreams of having like a beauty professional credit union where we may have a credit and you could come and say, you ain't got to worry about all this stuff that we got to go through now as self-employed. You could come in, we know you're a hairstylist, you know, and we could lend you money. You know, we can give you a mortgage. We can do all these things because we cater towards your craft.
Now that's a big prayer right there.
Well, I've been dreaming about it.
That's a big one right there.
I've been dreaming about it. I mean, we all got a bank somewhere. You got to put your money somewhere. And I mean, you know, I think it's worth it.
That's real big right there. Demetria, thank you so much for joining tonight. Girl, it is good to hear from you. Demetria said, I love the beauty industry, the continuous growth, and the entrepreneur business opportunities it affords our culture. The salon and barbershops are vital to neighborhoods, believe it or not. It is.
Yeah, it is. I think we changing, you know, from the mom and pop kind of feel. People trying to have brands. It's not like I just got a shop over here. I think, you know, people want the consumer wants to go somewhere where it's a brand. People want to go somewhere with notoriety, and they feel comfort and solace in that. I mean, it's still important. We one of the few businesses that I think are recession proof. You know, the beauty business clearly is pandemic proof because people were still buying hair and getting their hair done. So I think, you know, we can't be, you know, like electronic. You know, it's not going to be a robot doing your hair. You know, you need a person cutting or styling.
Yes, you know? I tell people all the time. I don't know if did you have your shops yet on when September 11th took place?
Baby, look, I was in high school.
Okay, but I'm gonna tell you what I was associated with. I was a stylist.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember on September the 11th, this is all to back your point that the beauty industry survives.
Yeah.
Y'all, it was planes going into buildings. Traffic was crazy. Everybody was scared as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know I was in that barbershop? Yeah. I was doing hair.
Yeah.
On September the 11th, I still took clients.
Yeah.
Up until like 7 p.m.
Because they're going out tomorrow.
Everybody, like, it was just speaking to what Demetria said about we are a big part of the community.
Yeah.
People come to the barbershop and to the salon to talk, like to get it off. We are therapists. Yeah. If you are in the beauty industry, you doing hair, you are a therapist.
Yeah.
It's for real. It's not a game. Yep. Demetria, thank you. She said, yes, we need to educate our stylists and barbers about retirement and investments. Yeah, you can though. But you know what? Like I'm getting to the point now where you can give people that information, but I'm not going to be talking till I'm blue in the face. Because that energy, I got to keep rolling.
Yeah,
you know?
you got to just, I think, for me, I just decided I'm just going to show you.
And what you do with it?
Yeah, and then you have it now. You can work it in your own, you know, what's comfortable for you.
That's that. And that's good. And that's something that you learn as an owner as you grow.
Yeah.
Yep, you guys, I cannot believe it, man. We are already down to the last 9 minutes of the show. If you guys have any questions or comments, now will be the time to drop it. And you want to give people your information and stuff, because a lot of times people want to glean from you.
Oh, yeah, they can call
you know,
me.
Or if it's anybody that's looking to get on the Salon Brands team, I mean, you got the man sitting right here.
Yeah, you guys can call me. My business line is 202-701-5171.
All right, there you have it right there, you guys. You guys can reach him directly. You know, he said he is accessible. You know, he is building. But like I said, friends, just wrapping this up, I'm telling you, I myself have learned quite a bit.
Really? Just
listening to you talking. It's kind of like a breath of fresh air, because some of it's just a lot of wisdom there.
Well, the one thing I'm gonna tell you is just stay progressive. That keep you away from all your stress. Like, I mean, every other year I'm opening up a salon. So, and I open them up bigger and better each time. So you gotta take all of that, the negatives, and figure out how to make them a positive. The only way you're gonna make them a positive is just to keep being consistent and moving forward. And taking those experiences and figuring out, okay, well, here, how can I prevent, you know, all these things from happening best I can? And what you can do within yourself to change, you know, those things from happening. Because sometimes it's even though you're the owner, you ain't always right. You know, you might feel like you're right, but you're not. And that's just what it is.
Yep, and you hit me in so many areas. You know what I mean? You know, we ain't got darn. I ain't gonna be sweating on here.
Nah, don't sweat.
We don't let them see you sweat. But I have learned some very hard lessons that, you know, I'm telling you, I done seen some wild things. So a lot of things you've been through, and I have watched you from afar go through a lot of the things that you went through. It's not like a lot of stuff. That's one thing about us. When you have these salons and stuff, and you living in the area, you know, everybody know what's going on. You going through these things publicly. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is for real, you know? And people don't get that. Some people do, and some people don't, but it's all right. Long as you get it, and you learn, and you progress. It's like whenever you take a hit, you come back like, whoosh.
Well, that's on purpose, because I know everybody has got to, you know, when the chips look like they're against you, that's when you're supposed to slam dunk. You know, you don't just lay there. You're supposed to, all right, you know, I know what you're thinking.
Know what you're thinking.
But I got some.
Yeah. Yep.
Keep on rolling.
I got you.
And even if you don't have nothing, just keep on rolling. You know, even if you don't have nothing in the works, just, hey, I'm still here though. So,
what is your not that it's all based off that, but what is your zodiac sign?
Libra.
A Libra. Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. My father was a Libra. Y'all something else. That's funny as I don't know what. I don't live by the zodiac. I know they like, why are you thinking about that zodiac? You're in church. But I would be lying if I said some of those characteristics.
Some of them are
don't
true.
Stand out. You know what
true.
I mean?
Not all, but some of them.
Not all. Right. We can't live by that.
Yeah.
Oh man, but like I said, friends, I wish you nothing but success. You know, I'm gonna be gleaning.
Well,
when I got a question, I'm gonna be called. I'm gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna be like, hey, I got a question. You know what I mean? And I just thank you for all the opportunities that you. This is another good question. I got 3 minutes, y'all. Mm-hmm. Do you normally only employ African Americans? Is that normally what's in your shops, or have you had other races and nationalities?
Yeah. I had some Caucasian, Dominican. I got some Vietnamese in the salon in Waldorf. I don't discriminate. If you want to work and I got a space for you, then you can come work.
I just think it's a great thing when you can go, and I think that's major success. When you can go, I love our culture. But I also like to see more.
Well, you know what, you'd be surprised is a lot of those other cultures, they're just like us. It's misconception. You know, people, we don't take the time to get to know them, but they just like us, and all of them trying to hustle just like we are. So you can't discredit them, you know.
Yeah. That's good though. Like I said, I don't know what it is. I remember I had a nail salon and I had black nail techs in, but I had started pulling Asians in, and like I just think that that's just such a good look, because now, not discriminating, but you go into a lot of the beauty supply stores now, you know, I do not see a lot of black owned beauty supply stores, and I just can't understand why it's so hard for us to get the plug on that. But I see us working in them.
Well, we work in them, but we can't. Yeah, I mean,
it's a plug that they have.
But they got it and they holding it.
That's what it is. They are holding that plug.
But there are a couple black beauty supply stores in the area, though.
It is, and I try to support them. Yeah. And that's sad that I don't even have those young ladies' names. Are we talking about the hair industry and stuff? But like I said, thanks again for coming on, Rance. It's never enough time for us, because you could just go on and on and on. And I'm gonna be looking for your podcast too.
I'll be ready.
I'm gonna be looking for yours.
Oh man,
look, you heard that? I done spoke that. I said I'm gonna be looking for yours, man, because you definitely had that kind of personality. But I want to thank you guys for joining me for another episode of Let's Talk with Ro. And next week we will be continuing the series on the hair industry. So you make sure you tune in. Have a good one, guys. Yeah, that